Mental health is a serious issue. Most of you guys probably know who I am, and if you don't, my name is Mike Fox. I make videos on YouTube to try and cheer people up when they're down. That's it. I never got into YouTube to make money. I never got into YouTube to become internet famous. I got into YouTube to make people smile when they were upset. Because whenever I was going through shit, I would turn to people like KSI, Pewdiepie, even some people that I'm friends with now like Jay and Ramel from TGF. When I was down and when I could not see anything positive about life, I used to turn to these people and watch them, and it would make me smile, make me feel better about myself. And it became my goal in life to do what these people did to me and just make somebody smile when they felt down. That is my purpose in life, I guess. But depression doesn't go away. Mental health does not go away, it is here to stay. I was diagnosed with depression about a year ago, and I was diagnosed with ADHD about 6 or 7 years ago. These two things go hand in hand and make each other worse. When I say that I have depression, it doesn't mean that I am contemplating suicide 24/7 or cutting myself on a daily. But that does not mean that I have not done either of these things. Depression is a mental illness, but unlike most other organs, if you have an illness in those, the brain is a harder thing to cure. Depression is basically a state of mind that you cannot get yourself out of. Negative things seem worse. Positive things don't seem as good. One day I can have the best day in my life and it feels like there's not a worry at all in my brain. I can live life to the full. But the next day the demons come back and it just breaks you down and you feel so useless. I am not afraid to say these things. It is a part of me and I'm happy with who I am. Depression isn't something that I look badly on. In fact, everybody with depression is strong because they're still dealing with it and they're not giving up. A few years ago, when I was maybe 16, 17, I went through a very tough time in my head. I felt like I was a burden on everyone. I felt like I was useless, I had nothing. The funny question that I get asked though is when people say, you've got so much going for you, you earn all this money, you have all these followers, why are you depressed? That question makes me laugh because it just proves that people don't understand mental illness. A few years ago, before all of this internet fame and before I was earning any sort of money, I was in the worst state of mind I've ever been in, and I remember sitting on the edge of a bridge wondering if I pushed myself off, would anyone actually care? Thankfully, I was too much of a pussy that I didn't do it. I remember driving my motorbike through a town at 70 miles an hour and a 30 limit, thinking if I fell off and I died, it wouldn't matter. Thankfully, I didn't fall off and I'm still alive. It took me until my dad committed suicide for me to realise how precious life is and how much I do not want to push any sort of hurt on anybody. I never got along with my dad. I mean, there were some little things that we did that, you know, I cherished, some memories that were good, but a good 90% of it is negative. But even still, when he died, I remember I was upset. That point where my dad was sitting there with a spoon bubbling the heroin and then injecting it into his arm, there must have been a second just before he died where he thought, fuck, that's it. A lot of suicide survivors say the moment they did what they thought was going to kill them, they instantly regretted their decision. They wanted to live. And I know my dad would have felt something similar to that. That point where he was lying in his one-bed apartment in his own sick on the floor, struggling for breath. There must have been a moment in his head where he said, I wish it was all different. And it's knowing that keeps me going. It's knowing that even if you feel you're alone, people still care for you. I thought I hated my dad, but when he died, I realised I didn't hate my dad, I hated the things he did. And those were a result of the drugs and the alcohol and the mental illness that he had. That was not my dad that I hated, it was the effects of those things. Nobody is born to become a drug addict. Nobody is born evil. Nobody is born a bad person. It's their life experiences that move them that way. Depression isn't a weakness, it's a strength. If you can get through depression, you can get through anything in life. The two things that make me want to live now is knowing that I can help people out that felt like I used to, and knowing that I now have people around me that care. I will still have these negative thoughts, I will still have depression, but I am living proof that you can get through this. If you or anyone you know is suffering from depression or anxiety or any other mental health issue, including drug, drink or anything like that, please speak to someone. Because as much as you feel like you are alone, we're not. I say we because we are a group of people. We are not alone. I feel the same as you feel the same as I feel, and we feel the same as 6% of the planet. Together we can defeat mental illness. We can defeat depression. And we can do the one thing that we were born to do. Live.